What's up, everybody? My name is Matt and welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, I'm going to show you guys 3 more Solana NFTs I think you guys might want to take a look at. Now, as always, if a particular project is sponsoring me for a video, I'll let you guys know. In this particular video, I'm not affiliated with any of the 3 projects I'm going to show you guys. That being said, let's get right into it. So the first one I wanted to take a look at with you all is something called the Suites. Now, I'll be honest with you guys, I think this might just be one of the nicest looking metaverse projects I have ever seen. Now, I imagine this is going to be very difficult to mint, as the mint is going to be later today, actually, but I imagine it's going to be very hard considering there is a lot of attention on their Twitter. But, I mean, look at this, guys. I mean, seriously, this does look to be the real deal. I mean, just look at the way they've designed their metaverse here. I mean, this definitely does look to be pretty top tier for the Solana ecosystem for sure. Now, of course, when we take a look at Magic Eden, this is where they're going to be minted on. So around 5,000 items with a price of 2 Solana per mint, which is very expensive for a mint these days. But ultimately, I feel like that's probably a better thing since it will make them a little bit more scarce and maybe people will be less likely to dump them below floor price. And of course, there's going to be a limit of 1 per wallet. So ultimately, I would guess that this will probably be a profitable investment for those that are successfully able to mint this. Considering with a high floor like this, I think it's less likely that they're immediately dumped, and I feel like this will be more sustainable over time as people eventually, join in and start playing on this metaverse. I think people would be less likely to just dump it off. Now, of course, again, like they mentioned in this clip, running at 60 FPS, and to be honest with you, this is one of the smoother feeling things out there for sure. So definitely not a bad option. Now, before we go any further, guys, make sure to check out my Patreon down below in the description. If you guys like behind the scenes access to tons of exclusive NFT content, including my NFT watch list, complete access to Matt's NFT dojo, private Discord community for NFTs, and so much more. So if you guys want to copy every single NFT purchase or sell I ever make, you guys can do that with the Patreon down below in the description. Now, the next project here is something I found called Cow Empire. Now, I know what you guys thinking, oh my goodness, it's another one of those copycat profile picture projects. And look, we've had a lot of debates in Discord, in the comments and stuff about whether or not these projects are worth investing in. But ultimately, guys, I don't have an emotional attachment to an NFT project. I just don't. Either I like something and think it's profitable, or I don't. And either or, we'll decide whether or not I'm going to purchase it. Now, ultimately, this project is insanely small. I mean, insanely. Only 999 of them, only 100 followers. I mean, virtually non-existent in terms of a social media presence. Yet they are actually listed on Magic Eden. So you guys can see their project here has a floor of 0.14. And I find Magic Eden to actually be a good spot for this. Because recently on the channel, I picked up a 10x by finding Fluffy Fox Society and purchasing this one when it was around a very similar price of 0.1 or 0.08 Solana per piece. So ultimately what I wanted to try to do was to replicate those gains in some way. Now, again, something like this has such a low floor that in theory, if there were 5 people who on Twitter decided, hey, I'm just going to ape a ton of money into this, they could in theory buy up like a ridiculous amount of this supply. So ultimately, when you see something like this, you're not really paying for the project per se. You are paying to get such a massive supply. It's so cheap. So ultimately, when I see something like this, the cool thing is that you could, if you wanted to, buy an absurd amount of these for an extremely low price. So again, a very risky opportunity here. Don't know whether or not this will have a future or not, but I do think that ultimately it is probably worth the very minimal risk you would take on a project like this. Now, the next project here is something called Lunaroid. Now, this is actually going to be listed on SOLANA, so definitely a bit of a bigger project out there, but again, also a metaverse type of thing. Very 3D kind of design, very cool looking. And when we take a look at their website here, you guys can see we are Lunaroid, and they have a bunch of lore and stuff like that, but ultimately something about World War III and a bunch of stuff like that. But ideally, they are marketing themselves as being unconventional in terms of art style, which I definitely can't agree with. They they are trying to strengthen their community. They want to have some airdrops going on, which is awesome. Art with utility, if they voting mechanism in their Discord. So a lot of stuff they seem to be planning on. Again, I don't know whether or not this will have a wildly successful run or not, but ultimately I do think something like this may be worth minting. It definitely does seem to be a better one of the NFT mints coming out. The mint is on the 20th, so might not be a bad idea if the price is right. And ultimately, this is an example of probably a safer or slightly less risky project than, say, something like Cow Empire, but ultimately you might be paying more money for something like this than something like Cow Empire. So again, definitely do your research. Be careful when making all investments. As always, I'm not a financial advisor, but hopefully the 3 projects I showed you guys today gave you a pretty even spread of, high caliber to low caliber. So that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, hope you guys have enjoyed. Check out the Patreon down below if you guys want to see exactly what NFTs I'm buying and selling whenever I am doing that, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.